Well, good morning, everyone. My name is Jennifer Wright, and I'm the Executive Director of Communications here at GM Canada. It is my pleasure to welcome you to General Motors in Oshawa for this very special announcement. It's going to be a great day. Our first priority at General Motors is to take care of your safety. In the event of an emergency evacuation or take shelter situation, we have trained safety representatives on site that will direct you on where to go. And we begin this event by respectfully acknowledging that we are on the traditional territory of the Mississaugas of Scugog Island First Nation. We offer our gratitude to our First Nations, and we recognize their history, spirituality, culture, and stewardship of the land. We have a number of special guests to introduce today, and I welcome David Patterson.
Thanks, Jennifer, and welcome everybody. I just want to briefly acknowledge and recognize some of our great guests that we have here. And first and foremost, our friends from Unifor. I see my friend Shane Work right here. And we also have Mike Van Bokel and Jason Gale. Mike from our CAMI plant and Jason from Oshawa, right behind me. Thank you. We have some of our great dealers, in particular, Gus and Gail Brown are here. We have our friends from our university and college partners. We have a great relationship here with Durham College, Ontario Tech University, University of Waterloo, University of Toronto. Thank you for being here. Also, U.S. Representative Susan Crystal is the Consul General from the U.S. in Toronto. I don't know, I haven't seen Susan, but I know she's here. From the city of Oshawa, the great mayor of Oshawa, Dan Carter, is here, and thank you, Dan, for being here. He and John Henry, the chair of Durham Region, have just been amazing partners for us all the way through all of this transformation. And in addition, we have the chair of the Auto Caucus, my friend Francesco Sorbera, is here with us as well. We have our member of provincial parliament for Whitby, Mr. Lauren Coe, who is also the chief government whip, and my good friend Colin Carey, I saw through there, our member of parliament as well. And so thank you all for being with us here. And back to you, Jennifer.
Thank you, David. Thank you, David. I'd now like to welcome to the stage Steve Carlisle, Executive Vice President and President of GM North America. Steve?
Thank you, Jennifer. Welcome, Premier and ministers and everyone to GM's new McLaughlin Advanced Technology Track, where we literally put the code on the road, as we like to say, and work every day to bring about our all-electric autonomous future. This is another proud day for us at GM and a proud day for me as a Canadian. I started my career with General Motors 40 years ago at the Oshawa truck plant, working about 400 yards that way, maybe less, from where we're standing today, which makes this just that much more special. So at GM, we deeply value our partnerships and their support as we redefine the future of mobility. And I know that we have some of the very best partners here with us today. I believe everyone here knows of the transformation that's taking place at General Motors, with a range of new battery electric vehicles powered by GM's proprietary Ultium battery system, which is well on its way. GM Canada is playing a critical role in this journey as we develop and test new technologies right here at our Canadian Technical Centre, or CTC. In 2016, I was pleased to be joined by Prime Minister Trudeau to announce the expansion of our engineering and software work in Canada. And I'm pleased to say we've grown our engineering base to more than 1,000 engineers, and we continue to hire and to expand. Canada is also becoming critical to the EV battery supply chain, as you saw with our recent investment announcement with Minister Champagne in Beaucancourt, Quebec. Together with our partner, POSCO Chemicals, we will process minerals into cathode active material for GM's Ultium batteries. You might say that there'll be a little bit of Canada in every new electric vehicle from GM. So today, I'm pleased to announce that GM's transformational investments of over $2 billion in Canada are well on their way. We will convert our Ingersoll operation to become Ontario's very first full-scale electric vehicle manufacturing plant with production to begin before the end of this year. Yeah. We're also confirming that we're on track to create more than 2,600 new direct jobs since operations resumed at our Oshawa plant. Yeah. And many more indirect new jobs all through our automotive supply chain. Now I want to acknowledge the great work of Scott Bell and his team to get us here today. As you heard last week, Scott has been appointed to lead Global Chevrolet, so congratulations to Scott. It's also my great pleasure to also introduce to you today GM Canada's new President and Managing Director, Marisa West. So now I would like to invite Scott and Marisa to the platform to tell you some more. Scott, Marisa?
Well, thanks, Steve, and welcome, everybody. Exciting day for us, for sure. I want to add my congratulations to Marisa, who I know you'll continue this great momentum that we're building here in Canada from this day forward. So, in addition to the news that GM will be the first to bring full-scale EV production in Canada, I am pleased to also announce today that Oshawa Assembly will now add the Chevrolet light-duty Silverado pickup truck to its plant production. As a result, we will be adding a third shift at Oshawa Assembly in the coming months. As Steve mentioned, when the third shift begins, we will have created more than 2,600 new jobs since restarting our operations here in Oshawa. And these are our new jobs, but they are now jobs, right? So this is a great, great day for us as these folks are getting ready to go to work. With this, Oshawa will become GM's only plant producing both heavy-duty and light-duty pickups, which positions us very well for optimal flexibility as we meet strong North American demand for our great products. And I can tell you in my new role, this is great news, as we will want all the Chevrolet Silverados you can build here in Oshawa. It's also a special day for Marisa as well. You may not know this, but Marisa was the chief engineer on the Silverado Heavy Duty. And it's been the success of this truck, Marisa, in the marketplace that's ultimately brought production right here back to Oshawa. So thank you. And let's not forget our thriving stamping and parts business in the Oshawa complex, which also demonstrates our growing momentum aligned with the future of the industry. We are especially proud to underscore that 50% of our new production hires here at Oshawa are women. GM intends to be the most inclusive company in the world, and our Oshawa hiring shows we are taking concrete actions to reach that goal. We're also proud to say that GM Canada will be signing on to Canada's Diversity Challenge and the Canada Net Zero Challenge. And now it is our great honor to introduce the Premier of Ontario, Doug Ford.
Thank you. Thank you. Boy, you know something? I can't wipe the smile off my face today. This is an amazing announcement, and good morning, everyone. I want to thank you, Scott and Marisa, for the introduction and for hosting us today. Once again, it's a pleasure to be joined by Minister Fedeli, Minister Champagne, and MP Turnbull, and all the other dignitaries, Mayor and Unifor folks, everyone, and our MPPs as well. And to be back right here with the incredible team from GM. Friends, our government has a plan to attract more investment in our auto and manufacturing sectors. A plan that's connecting resources, industries, and workers in Northern Ontario to a future of clean steel and electric vehicles. Over the past 2 years, we've seen game-changing investments in our auto sector, with more than $12 billion in new investments, including more than $4 billion invested in electric vehicle production. And today's announcement is more good news for Ontario's auto sector. With General Motors committing $1.8 billion to retool their plants in Oshawa and Ingersoll, this major investment, which includes $259 million in support from the province, will bring pickup truck production to Oshawa and electric commercial vehicle production to Ingersoll, as Ingersoll becomes GM's designated hub for its new electric commercial vehicle brand, BrightDrop. Today's investment will secure 2,600 jobs for the workers here in Oshawa and to add a third shift at the plant. This is good. Folks, this is just another huge win for the people of Durham and for all of Ontario. These kinds of game-changing investments are proof that our government's plan is working. We're building on our province's long tradition of automotive excellence and investing to lead the electric vehicle revolution. We're making Ontario the best jurisdiction in North America to build the vehicles and batteries of the future. When we took office 4 short years ago, Ontario's auto industry was in terrible, terrible shape. I remember like it was yesterday. Auto companies were shutting down and leaving our province, taking thousands of jobs with them. In fact, because of the previous government's policies, this same plant closed down as well. But today is a whole different story. All that has changed. We now have secured investments from all major auto companies here in Ontario. Working with our great, and I emphasize great, federal and municipal and union partners, we've opened this plant in Oshawa back up, and we're securing our auto sector for the next generation of workers. We're investing in mineral production, battery production, clean steel production, and final assembly. We are investing in every part of the auto supply chain. The cars of the future will be built in Ontario from start to finish by Ontario workers. Because we made a promise to transform our auto sector by harnessing and unleashing Ontario-made innovation and leveraging our highly skilled workforce to fill the jobs of tomorrow. We are on a mission to make Ontario the #1 destination anywhere in the world for business and jobs. And historic investments like this one today show that we're continuing to deliver. GM couldn't have chosen a better partner than Ontario, and thank you for that. Because our province has come so far, we can't afford to go back to the politics of no. Instead, your government is saying yes. Yes to good jobs for our workers. Yes to another century of being North American leaders in auto manufacturing. And yes to getting it done. Thank you, and God bless the people of Ontario. Now I'll pass it over to Minister Champagne, a good partner.
Good morning, everyone. Do we have reasons to celebrate? My friends, this morning, today we celebrate a new beginning, a really new beginning for Oshawa as we're looking at a third shift and 2,600 new jobs, as been said before. This is a new beginning for the workers, for the community, for the people of Oshawa and the Durham region. But this is in addition to other good news at Ingersoll, which Ingersoll is going to become the first full-scale electric vehicle production facility in Canada. This is big news for Canada. This is big news for Ontario. It's big news for our auto sector. And I want to say thank you, Premier Ford. It seems that every time we're on stage together, it's about good news. Good news for jobs, it's good news for jobs, good news for economic growth, and obviously good news for Canada as a whole. And I want to say thank you to you because you've been a great partner. And I also want to acknowledge the Prime Minister of Canada. You can all imagine that Prime Minister Trudeau would have liked to be with us this morning. He's adding his voice to mind this morning, but obviously current events in the world are asking him to be in Ottawa. But I know he would share the pride and the energy and passion that I bring to you this morning with our colleagues this morning. I also want to acknowledge the presence of a few people here in the room, and David Patterson did a great job, but Francesco Sabara, which is the chair of our Auto Caucus, I must say, you've been a tireless advocate, my friend, to make sure that we bring more jobs, more clean vehicles, and more production in Canada. I want to say thank you for that. Yes, he deserves it. Because trust me, every time I walk in the Hall of Parliament, he reminds me that we need more, and more. I want to also acknowledge Ryan Turnbull, which is the MP for Whitby. Ryan, you such a strong voice for the community. We're all proud of the work, and I can tell you, when you and Francesco talk, Ottawa listens. That's why we're here this morning, and it's great to be with you both. I want to acknowledge Mark Holland, the leader of the government in the House, which wanted to be with us, but again, the House is sitting, so has to be back in Ottawa. I want to acknowledge as well my dear friend, Vic Fedeli. Minister Fedeli, I must say, there's no better friend and partner in making sure that we bring good-paying jobs and new mandates here in Ontario. And I want to say it's always a pleasure to work with you, sir. Yeah, he deserves it. Everything we've done in the auto sector, we've done together, and I know Colin Carey. Colin, you're here, the MP from Oshawa. Pleasure to have you with us. But my greatest thanks this morning will go to Steve Carlisle. Steve, thanks to your leadership and passion and vision, we are here today. And I remember our meeting in Detroit in December, our famous Detroit meeting, where the plan was laid out. But I knew from day one that we had an ally with you, because I do know that you started your career as a co-op student at Oshawa in 1982. So I knew from day one that we would have an ally with you, and thank you, Steve, for everything you've done to bring this great announcement this morning. I also want to acknowledge Scott Bell. Scott is moving on to lead the Chevrolet business, but I can tell you, Scott, you've always been there for us, and you've always made sure that Canada remained at the forefront of GM plans for Canada. And I want to thank you for that, because your involvement has led to this announcement this morning, but also the GM POSCO announcement. So, sir, I want to acknowledge all your work. And I want to say a great welcome to Marisa. Marisa is coming on our shore. She's bringing the whole family. So we're very excited not only to have Marisa with us, but the whole family will be moving here. And my biggest thanks of all is going to the generations of workers at GM. It's really thanks to your hard work, to your excellence, your energy, your passion, your dedication that we can have great announcement like this morning. It's thanks to you that we can have mandates, and I would like to say to all of you, and Jackie in particular, which I know Jackie Medoto, a big round of applause, because it's really thanks to the workers, generation of people who have made a difference, which are making us today, being here today, and looking at a bright future together. So good morning, everyone. This was just the start. This was just the passion. Bonjour tout le monde. It's great to be back with the GM team, as you would appreciate, as we were together in Montreal just a few weeks ago for another really important announcement that put Canada at the heart of its North American supply chain. And that's why I say it's very important, because now Canada is fully integrated within the North American supply chain of GM. But today we're here in Oshawa, and I'm glad because I also got the chance, or I will have the chance, to be on the test track to try the BrightDrop, the full electric van behind me, which is really a Canadian product, and extremely proud to see the work that has been done. But before I go on, I want to say a big thank you. A big thank you to you, the workers in GM, because you were all there when we needed you. At the beginning of the pandemic, you stepped up early. You retooled your operations, and you helped us produce face masks for frontline workers. And I say on behalf of a grateful nation, thank you for the work you did. You were there where we needed you. And now we are here today with an announcement that will further cement, and the Premier said that, we are cementing today Ontario's place as the second largest automotive jurisdiction in North America, and that is a big thing, ladies and gentlemen. And today with this announcement, we're going to make sure that we have our place for generations to come. Today is proof that the Canadian auto sector is here for the long term. That means more jobs, more economic growth, and certainly more clean vehicles. And I know you heard it from Premier Ford, but let me say it again because it's so good news that I think we can repeat everything that we have said because we're all proud this morning. With this $2 billion investment that we're seeing today that we have secured from GM, this will make a huge difference for the folks in Oshawa. And I can see the pride in the town. I was here yesterday at the restaurant talking to the people there at the hotel and saying there's big news coming for the region. But I know this is going to be also big news for the folks in Ingersoll because this will become, like we said before, the very first full-scale electric vehicle manufacturing facility. This is a big thing because this BrightDrop that you see behind me was designed by Canadians, was made in Canada, and is going to be transforming the way delivery is going to be made in North America. I think something we can all be very proud as Canadians. This is truly Canadians, what you're seeing behind me. So this is good news for the thousands of workers because I'm thinking at this generation of workers and the ones that are going to come behind you. This is good news, obviously, for Durham, Ontario, and Canada, but it's also good news for Canada and Canadians because we want to lead in the green industrial transformation. And this morning, what better example than what you see behind us? I can tell you that over the past month, we've been laying the groundwork for a brand new ecosystem. And our vision is to make sure that we would manufacture the car of the future right here in Canada with green steel, green aluminum, and green batteries. Et c'est ce qu'on a annoncé à Montréal le mois dernier avec GM, alors que son usine de cathode, qui est l'un des matériaux clés des batteries pour les véhicules électriques, sera produit chez nous à Bécancour, au Québec. GM a une grande histoire au Canada qui date depuis 1918, mais il est clair que son avenir sera tout aussi prometteur. But I know it didn't always feel that way. And Premier Ford mentioned it. And when I was coming this morning, I was talking about the thousands of workers, because back in 2019, when the Oshawa plant had to close down its operation, and 2,500 families got bad news, there was question about the future of the auto sector. There was question about what's going to happen. There was one promise that was made at the time by all of us. We have your back. And today is the answer that we're securing jobs for generations to come. That's our answer to all of you today. And that's why I'm pleased to announce that our government, as well as with our colleagues from the provincial government, we will support the GM investment by investing $259 million as they continue their transition to make the vehicle of the future and advancing the electrification of Canada's automotive sector. Not only we will see big change here in Oshawa with an impressive modernization plan, 2,600 new jobs, as we said, 50% of those being female workers, and I think we should all be proud of that. But also we're going to be adding a third shift, and that's going to make sure that we build the new lower emission Sierra and Silverados that we see right here in Canada. But we're also going to be transforming the CAMI and Ingersoll plan to make the new electric delivery vehicle. And in addition to all that, because we wanted to have our eyes set on the future, we have agreed with GM that they will be investing hundreds of millions of dollars in research and development right here in Canada, because we want the future to start from here in Oshawa and Ingersoll. Yeah, we should be very happy about that, because they are a great partner. We should all be very happy to stand with GM today as they continue to choose Canada as a trusted partner to manufacturing cars of the future. So I say to all of you today, let's seize the moment, let's be ambitious, and let's make sure that the car of the future are built right here in Canada for the future. Thank you, everyone. Oh, and now, with the emotion and passion, it's my pleasure to invite Minister Fedeli to the podium. Minister Fedeli, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Francois. Thank you very much, everybody. Here we go again, Minister. Here we go again, Premier. We're off. We're so excited to be here at the GM Oshawa plant to announce this latest great news in Ontario's auto industry. Since taking office, our government has been committed to rebuilding Ontario's auto sector, to build the vehicles of the future right here in Ontario, by Ontario workers. And today's historic announcement with GM is another milestone in our commitment to the future of Ontario's automotive sector, which we announced late last year in our Driving Prosperity Plan. It's incredible to see the run of success in our auto sector in the last couple of years. In order to attract these kind of significant investments that secure good jobs for Ontario workers and grow our auto sector, we really had to make the cost of doing business in Ontario more affordable. So through our Open for Business mandate, we took decisive steps to lower taxes, reduce electricity costs, cut red tape. All of that has reduced the cost of doing business in Ontario by nearly $7 billion a year. And over the past 18 months, we've seen an incredible streak of auto investments, more than $12 billion in total, much of it for new vehicle production mandates and battery manufacturing. It's a streak like nothing we've ever seen in the history of our province and in our country. We are investing up and down the whole supply chain to build the cars of the future right here in Ontario, from the critical minerals in Northern Ontario to the production of green steel, to the parts makers and connected and autonomous technologies, the EV battery plants, and the automakers themselves. It's like we've slid our chips. We're all in Ontario. We're thrilled that today's announcement will add, as you've heard, more than 2,600 well-paying jobs right here in Oshawa. That is great news for our highly talented workers, for their families, and the communities they live in. And at the CAMI plant in Ingersoll, GM, as you have heard, is going to make the very first fully electric delivery van behind us, the BrightDrop. It was developed with R&D and testing done right here in Ontario. So to everyone here at GM, we are so proud that your vehicles will continue rolling off the assembly line here in Ontario. They are the true calling cards for our incredible auto industry and our workers as you sell them right across the North American market. So Scott, thank you. Welcome Marissa and the whole team here at General Motors for being truly amazing partners. We're grateful for your latest vote of confidence in Ontario's workers and for being part of the auto revolution taking place right here in Ontario. Thank you, and I'll now pass it over to the Member of Parliament for Whitby, Ryan Turnbull.
Well, I'm ecstatic to be here today. We know that climate change demands us to rise to the challenge like never before. It means we need to collaborate at every level to drive transformative change across our industries and dramatically reduce GHG emissions. Passenger vehicles and light-duty trucks are a huge opportunity to realize the potential of the EV market and help us forge a pathway to net zero by 2050. We all know the future is electric, and it's great to see the team at GM Canada lead the industry. Anyone from this region knows that GM Oshawa has always been an integral part of our community and a significant contributor to Durham region as a whole, providing thousands of good local jobs. Seeing the company's pivot and rapid resurgence couldn't come at a better time for our region. And as we fight back from the pandemic, we will ensure growth and good jobs while innovating to meet the challenges of tomorrow and making life more affordable for families. This investment of $259 million through the Strategic Innovation Fund and the Net Zero Accelerator Initiative is another prime example of how the Government of Canada continues to position our country at the forefront of many industries, including automotive manufacturing for zero-emission vehicles. And I know I will continue, and we will continue to differentiate Canada as a world leader in all areas of the clean economy, so that all Canadians can breathe easier knowing we are protecting our planet. With strategic investments and visionary leadership like we are seeing here today, it's clear that we have a bright future ahead for our economy, environment, and society. Today, we've taken a leap for our economic prosperity, and this investment will ensure we continue to bounce back stronger than ever while embracing the fight against climate change and creating more, many more, good-paying jobs. There is no downside to today. This is truly inspiring. Thanks to everyone for their contributions to this important initiative. I can say with renewed confidence that we are working together at all levels to build the sustainable economy of the future. Thank you.
Well, that concludes the formal speaking remarks. I now invite Premier Ford, Minister Champagne, and GM Canada President Scott Bell to take questions from the media. The Q&A will be moderated by Christine Wood, the Press Secretary for Premier Ford, and we please ask that media line up beside the standing microphone to ask your questions. Thank you.
Thank you. If media could form a line behind me at the microphone here, we'll go one at a time, and it'll be one question and one follow-up per reporter.
Good morning, Megan Fitzpatrick from CBC News. Minister Champagne, this is for you. Just asking some questions on behalf of my colleagues in our Parliament Hill Bureau. And this is on your recent announcement about internet for seniors. Okay, well, some advocates are calling on the federal government to make this available to all low-income seniors, not just those who qualify for the maximum GIS. Will you expand the program?
Let's start by celebrating what we're doing here this morning. I think it's great news for all the folks here, but you're right, this morning we announced that there will be lower internet rates for seniors and low-income seniors and families. This is a good start, I would say, because we know, and Premier Ford, I'm sure, would agree with me, that connectivity is key when you look at the economy of the future, the digital economy, and we wanted to hear the concerns that seniors have said to us and low-income families. So I would say it's a good start. Let's start with that. We have heard from a lot of people, and we made sure that we'd have a program that would really target those who need it most. But certainly this morning, I think we're here to celebrate this great announcement here at Oshawa.
Sorry, because I have a follow-up question still on that issue. Those internet providers are part of this, the ones that are part of it have been doing it on a voluntary basis. Is your government considering making it mandatory for all internet providers?
Well, we've been working with the internet provider to cover as many people as possible. Like I said, it's good news because we all have families, we all know seniors and low-income families who need it to be connected. I think in the world of today, this is essential because we want them to be fully part of the new digital society that we have. So we'll continue to work, and certainly if we need to have partners to increase the coverage, we'll be looking into that for sure. Merci.
Catherine Brulotte de Radio-Canada, à nouveau pour le ministre Champagne. Pour l'annonce d'aujourd'hui, vous l'avez dit un peu dans votre discours, l'industrie, les employés en particulier ont connu quelques années difficiles. Qu'est-ce qui vous fait croire que l'investissement fédéral d'aujourd'hui va permettre des emplois stables et à long terme?
Ben, écoutez, d'abord parce qu'avec le premier ministre Ford, ce qu'on a annoncé maintenant, c'est que GM, de par l'investissement qu'on a vu à Bécancour dans les cathodes, de par l'investissement qu'on voit ce matin à Oshawa et celui à Ingersoll, on vient d'ancrer GM, ou on vient d'ancrer le Canada dans la chaîne d'approvisionnement nord-américaine de GM. Vous savez, le véhicule que vous voyez derrière moi, qui sera le véhicule de livraison électrique, sera construit ici par des Canadiens pour l'ensemble du marché. Je pense que quand vous voyez un investissement de cette ampleur-là, plusieurs investissements, finalement, on vient de voir avec GM, c'est sur ce qu'on a travaillé avec eux. C'est vraiment d'avoir une vision non seulement pour cette génération-là, mais pour les générations à venir des employés de GM à travers le pays.
Merci. My next question is for Premier Ford. About your proposed reduction to gas tax.
Yes.
You had already announced a 10-cent reduction on gas tax, but decided to go lower for the last couple of years. Why now? Why is now the time to go back to that promise? And why will that be more affordable after 6 months for people to put money on gas in their car?
Well, thank you so much. We originally put 4.3 cents per liter. We took that off. Now we're fulfilling our promise at 10 cents a liter. It's 5.7 cents. And you know, the people of Ontario and across the country have just been getting gouged day in and day out, and they're finding a very tough time right now. You see the gas prices just skyrocketing, unprecedented prices, and it's about time that the government starts putting money back into the people's pocket instead of the government's pocket. Because in my opinion, the people can spend their money a lot wiser than governments. They can stimulate the economy. and create the environment for jobs. On top of that, that's the exact reason why we're getting rid of the tolls of the 412 and 418, putting money back into people's pockets, getting rid of that sticker. First jurisdiction, I think, in North America that we aren't charging for the sticker, and 7.1 million people are going to get an average of over $300. Again, they're going to put that in their pocket, they're going to go out, and they may do things that they might otherwise not be able to do, go out for dinner, maybe buy something. That's what stimulates the economy, creating the environment and conditions for communities and people to thrive and prosper once again. And this is a great announcement today. I am just as pleased as punch, because it's not just the 2,600 jobs, it's all the suppliers, 7-to-1 ratio, and the communities that are going to benefit. This is an amazing announcement today. Thank you.
Fraser Stone, Global News. It's great to see that more jobs are coming back to Oshawa, but I know that there was a lot of advocacy from Green Jobs Oshawa. They were a group that was trying to convince GM to help bring EV vehicle production to Oshawa. And although, yes, there is electric production in Ingersoll, it appears that that's not coming to GM here in Oshawa. Is this something that we might look at in the future?
Yeah, thanks for the question, and thanks for recognizing what we're doing in Ingersoll. So that's the beginning of what we're doing. We've made a commitment to be all electric by 2035, our entire portfolio. It's a transition, a transformation, as you can imagine. The popularity of these great trucks, which are the cleanest, most fuel-efficient vehicles in pickups that we've ever built. So it's going to take us some time to get there. The demand is there, the 2,600 jobs, the third shift, the over $1 billion that we've invested here is going to help get us to that point. So we are committed to electric, as you've heard the minister say and Premier, that what we're doing in Canada is playing a big role in GM's future. So feel good about where we're at today. So thanks for the question.
Thank you.
Hi, a question for Premier Ford about the gas tax. Why would this proposed reduction happen, sorry, one second. Why is it taking effect after the election?
Well, when I spoke to the finance department, they said it's very complicated moving through the logistics and everything. But the good news is, on July the 1st, on the busiest season that people travel all around Ontario, and I encourage everyone to take advantage of the staycation tax credit as well, that's the busiest time. We're going to give people a break for a minimum of 6 months. Again, putting money back into people's pockets. It's absolutely critical. The people of Ontario, around the world, around Canada, have went through such tough times over the last 2 years. And again, we see the gas prices just absolutely skyrocketing. And it's just unfortunate, but that's why we're investing billions of dollars into electric vehicles and why we're putting money back into the people's pockets.
Just following up on the timing, in November you said you were going to make this cut, then changed your mind and said you wouldn't do it unless the federal government made a similar cut. So could you explain why you changed your mind again on that?
Well, because I'm fulfilling my promise at the time in November. The time wasn't right. The gas prices weren't where they're at right now. And I still encourage my friend, and then let me make no mistake about it, ourselves and the federal government, I haven't seen two governments in the history I've ever been in politics for 30 years work so well together, collaboratively together. You see announcement after announcement with our federal counterparts. It's amazing what can be done when the community is involved, the municipality, the provincial government, federal government, the union, be it Unifor. We are unstoppable, folks, when we work together. We aren't competing against the people down the street anymore. We're in a global economy, and we need to stick together here in Ontario and Canada. And you see the examples of great announcements that myself and Minister Champagne and Minister Fideli have been making, and I can assure you there's more announcements to come. This is an exciting time here in Ontario.
This is the last question.
Hi, Mr. Premier. Mr. Premier, this question comes from Adrian Gobero from City TV. COVID cases are being reported at alarming rates in schools. Families are being told to measure their own risk. And when it comes to COVID, though your government has dismantled most of the tools they use to measure the risk, what do you say to these families that are feeling abandoned?
Well, I don't think anyone's abandoned. We had some of the strictest regulations in the entire world. You know, I was accused of being the toughest leader on the mandates. I'm going to be cautious, but we've also built up hospital capacity, 3,100 acute care beds. We're better prepared. We have the antiviral pills from Pfizer that we have now, over 100,000 of them. And we're going to continue to be cautious. I follow the advice of the chief medical officer, but our hospitals are in good shape right now. We expected a little spike. We said that over the last month, but again, that little spike, we're being able to manage it.
Second question. The online gambling starts today for a lot of companies outside. How's that going to affect our revenue stream? What sort of numbers are we expecting from that? And if it's Vic Fideli, if you want to throw to Vic Fideli, then I would ask you, that question, yeah.
So I'll answer it, then I'll pass it over to Vic. But, you know, this has been going on already, and it's just a black market. Now we're going to regulate it, and I believe it's going to create a number of jobs. And I'm just, you know, seeing what happened in some of the states in the U.S., that it's actually created more jobs. But this is a good thing. At least it's going to be regulated. It's not going to be the black market anymore, and we're going to create industry and more jobs. I'll pass it over to Minister Vic Fideli.
Thank you, Premier. I would only echo what the Premier said, that those are great. There will be a huge economic development opportunity created from the online gambling. It's now regulated. It's been happening here in Ontario, and now we'll have it regulated, so it's a safer environment for everybody, and it's just a huge economic development driver. Those numbers will have...
Thank you, and we'll turn it back to Jennifer.
Well, thank you, everyone. On behalf of GM Canada, thank you for joining us today for this very special day that does formally conclude our event. For all members of the press, please note that Minister Champagne and Fideli will now participate in a test drive of our BrightDrop EV600. So if you do make your way back out to the test track, you can take your photos and capture your images there. Thank you very much.